Anyway, in the top left for Alpha X, give it up for Classic. In the bottom right, it's our Red Terran from Team GP, RYUNG. Classic going for a proxy gateway. I'm really excited. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here for you folks. As always. Classic. Gonna max packs his opponent. I'm sure that we're going to see a Zealot first. You know what? Maybe not. Okay, he's making a Stalker at home. Is he actually going to go double Stalker? Yeah, he's going to open double Stalker. F in the chat for sushi, everybody. All right, RYUNG getting a reactor on his high ground barracks. He's going to expand to the low ground. Okay, so Classic is going to have a really strong play set up. RYUNG is in a lot of trouble. Our Alpha X player getting heavy damage on the Reaper before a full scout can even be made. I mean, you see a Stalker and you expect aggression. You see one in your natural, you know it's aggression. Cancellation on the CC. Huge damage coming out from Classic at the start of Berlingrad. The CC still going to be built, just in a safer location. There is a tank in production from RYUNG. RYUNG seems to be taking it all in stride, trying to limit the damage as much as possible. Some SCVs getting killed off. Some Marines getting injured. The Stalkers repositioned to the low ground. Adept gives them high ground vision so they can keep pounding out damage on the supply depot. RYUNG losing worker after worker. This is not good for a Red Terran. The tank finally puts a halt to the onslaught of Classic. But Classic just looking so good at the start of this game. Let's take a glance at the trades. 200 minerals. Lost to 507 of those SCVs. The Terran economy taking huge damage. You know, the worker counts recovered, but so many of these workers pulled off the line for so long. So much money spent on repair at such an early point in the game is going to have a ripple effect for RYUNG for the rest of this map. One tank lifted into the air and eliminated by the Stalkers. The second tank being lifted as well. The Marines left entirely defenseless against the Stalkers. The SCVs are going to be the hero RYUNG perhaps doesn't need, but maybe the hero RYUNG deserves. This is not good for RYUNG. Oh my god. The second CC is being shelled again. Bunker going down at the bottom of the ramp. RYUNG being a true sportsman, hanging in there, trying to do everything he can to stabilize. He's getting a Viking out. Another tank is about to pop, but with the Phoenix dominating the skies, it's so hard for RYUNG to gain position. And the Stalkers move in so aggressively. That was such an aggressive play from Classic. Oh my god. The Marines hiding under the CC, push out. The Stalkers are finally backed away from the natural, but RYUNG taking mass damage. 35 probes to 21 SCVs right now. Several of the SCVs not even on the mineral line. RYUNG finally establishing a second command center, but is he going to be able to hold it? Twilight Tech and a Forge for Classic. Classic really showing up and dominating faction to start things off. Third Nexus for Classic. This is a shock and awe campaign from Classic right now. This is Scorched Earth, Siege Warfare against RYUNG. Just bombing RYUNG. This is incredibly aggressive from our blue Protoss. RYUNG having to fight for every inch of territory, just slowly push back the attackers painfully, foot by foot. He will overrun the proxy, but that's only because Classic wants to give it up in order to gain a positional advantage, it looks like. He's going to go to the high ground and go into the natural, lift another tank. There is a Viking to help force out the Phoenix, but Classic trading out the proxy for one tank. It looks like he's going to get a Viking as well. Force field on the Terran army. Classic, oh my god, just this has got to be painful for RYUNG mentally to deal with going into future games of the series. That was really harsh. That was a blistering assault from Classic that lasted for minute after minute after minute. Now RYUNG has a counter push going. This is looking really good. There is a chance he can break Classic. There is a chance he can turn this game around. But he has this one shot. If RYUNG holds and takes minimal damage, or excuse me, if Classic holds against RYUNG and takes minimal damage, it's over. It's GG for RYUNG. He's got this one chance. Classic is waiting to spring a trap. He's got multiple divisions of his army ready to collapse on the Terran, coming in from three sides. Once this warp-in finishes, Phoenix get lifts on the tank. The Zealots carving through the Vikings, carving through the Marines from multiple angles, and that's it. Coming in like a Zerg, Classic surrounds and destroys RYUNG. Does Classic do it again? Does he just take out a giant mallet and start bopping at RYUNG in the head? I think RYUNG is definitely going to be very cautious going into map number 2. We should see a lot of scouting from RYUNG. Classic is looking around for proxies. Is he going to drop one himself, though? That is our main question right now. It looks like it's a no. It looks like a no. We got Gate and Cyber in the main for Classic. RYUNG taps into the net. Sees a Nexus building. And we're gonna have a calm opener. It's gonna be calm. It's gonna be chill. So I think we see RYUNG play defensive macro, you know, maybe a Widowmine drop. Definitely a third CC. I think RYUNG's gonna take a game to rest and recuperate after the smashing Classic just gave him. And I think that would be a solid way to play against Classic right now. We got a Stargate finishing up for our blue Protoss. Oracle in the Stargate. What does RYUNG have to counter said Oracle? Well, he's going into Marines, he's going into Widowmine, so this Widowmine can be used defensively against the enemy Oracle. Just plop it behind the mineral line as your opponent tries to get kills. Will Classic follow up Oracle number 1 with the second Oracle? Looking at the production tab, as the gas continues to accumulate, I don't think so. We're seeing a Robo. Warp Gate's about to finish, and I think RYUNG's gonna go excuse me, Classic's gonna go full ground against RYUNG. Lasers turn on. SCVs become damaged. SCVs stop mining. This Oracle's just going to the convenience store and messing with people. These guys are just like trying to get their goods, pay for them at the counter, and get out. And the Oracle's like, nah, I'm gonna tag you with a laser. I'm gonna kill 3 of you. The rest of you, you get off. You get to live, but I'm gonna take you down to 1 HP. You're gonna have to heal up at the medevac. All right, I'm gonna leave you a little battered and bruised, and I'm gonna take your milk and I'm gonna leave. Delinquent Oracle. Immortal coming out for Classic. Small grouping of gateway units ready to clear the 3rd base location. Make sure it's safe against any on-rushing medevacs. Raven popping for RYUNG. Empty medevac. This is empty. Is that a mistake? Is he gonna meet up with the Hellion? Is that the idea here? It's gotta be, right? Like, he just drives the Hellion over. Or is it a decoy? Is he gonna send the Raven in for an auto turret? And then the Hellion in over here, and then maybe... No, it was a mistake. The medevac just leaves. Huh. I think the Hellion could have got some damage done if he went right in this corridor. 1, 2, 3 shots, and you have quite a few probe kills, but that's not the plan for RYUNG. He is going to go for a small bio tank push around the right corner of the map. Already 1 Colossi out to meet him, and a 2nd Colossi about to finish for Classic. Forge finishing for a Blue Protoss. Extended Thermal Lance as well. And, yeah, no, RYUNG cannot fight this army. There's no way in heck. So, he's not gonna. He's gonna drop in the main. Let's see where the targets are. Okay, these are some juicy pylons. If he goes here, here, he can depower a lot. No, he targets the Forge, and the Forge is healed by the shield battery. Classic is just having a good day. He's having a good day today. He's hitting the field very strong. Infantry weapons completed for a Terran. That's one thing going in his favor. Classic's still at 0-0. But he's got to get his army together and mount some kind of effective attack. Still barely any losses for, well, either player, but I'm really liking Classic's position. I'm really liking Classic's tech. We got combat shields finished up for RYUNG, as well as some dank Marauder slow. Vikings popping for a red Terran, but not actually with the army. Those Vikings, very helpful against these Thermal Lance Colossi. Okay. It's going to be a light drop into the Nat, it looks like. Classic sending half his army-ish to see if he can get some damage done on the Terran side of the map. With 4 tanks and multiple Vikings here, I don't think it's going to happen. The attack on the natural does absolutely nothing. RYUNG, can you get it together? Triple Ghost production kicking off. Armor about to finish. Blink in development for Classic, as well as armor and +2 weapons. EMP radius, not terribly far away, but definitely not in time for this coming fight, as long as Classic commits. He's really caught RYUNG out, actually. RYUNG's really spread out. He is not in a group. He's in a column. He got caught marching. Okay, these EMPs not the most effective. The splash damage from Classic is really good, but RYUNG has reinforcements coming up from the back. Is that going to be enough to turn the fight? The disabled Colossus walks into Marine fire. Oh, it's just a handful of bio units under the medevacs. Is it going to be enough? RYUNG narrowly pulls out the victory in the engagement. He is going to give chase, kill off another couple of stalkers. RYUNG finally winning the battle he needed to. Can he keep the pressure on Classic? +2, finishing for Classic. More armor on the way. Robo facility, a couple gates, an Archon morphing in. RYUNG, though. RYUNG finally trading pretty well. He is out trading the Protoss. That's not an easy task. 3 Colossi dead in the ground. Classic grabbing yet another Nexus. This is soon to be a 6-base Protoss versus 4-base Terran. Still doable for the Terran, but as RYUNG hits max out, he's going to want to hit Classic during the carrier transition, which Classic is committing to. 2 more Stargates as well as a Fleet Beacon. It could be Tempest. They have been coming back into style lately, but it's probably more likely going to be carriers for Classic. Drop is cleaned up. Classic just decides to remake this Nexus. RYUNG is going to be facing a large assault from the Protoss. Both players are maxed. Both players starting to build banks behind their tech. It is going to be Tempest. It is indeed going to be Tempest from our Protoss in lieu of carriers, Dark Shrine being made versus a fusion core for RYUNG. Most likely that is not for battle cruisers. Probably going to be for Liberator range. That is kind of the correct decisions when you're seeing a lot of Robotech, but hey, who needs libs when you kill all the Colossi as they're trying to recall? Very well played from RYUNG. Classic. Coming in with the Prism. And ratioed. The Vikings blow the Prism out of the sky with the help of a missile turret. Classic, finally on the back foot. RYUNG getting a cancel on one of the Nexi. Really decent Widowmine connection. It's not too impressive because of the types of units it hit, but it's about as best as you can hope for against the beefy Archons. A lot of disruptors in the mix. Beautiful EMP from RYUNG to start out the engagement. This is such a delicate dance for both players. Our Terran has taken a 5th CC. It is not a planetary yet, so this is an insecure location. Classic with a huge Zealot run by is going to be able to take out a tank and probably these command centers as well. RYUNG is rushing back to defend. Classic is retreat/attacking up the ramp. Run away into the mineral line. RYUNG able to stabilize against the Zealot run by pretty well. Hundreds of minerals lost for Classic to no damage against the Terran, except it does pin RYUNG back, right? This squad of units is not attacking Classic. Okay, well, that bio traded out for a disruptor. It's not all that bad for RYUNG. The Viking Cloud's going a-hunting. I don't know what it's gonna find. Okay, they're going to go home to defend this. RYUNG is about to hit the Protoss production. These gateways will go down pretty quickly. EMP? Double EMP on the Nexus? Not sure what that was about. Was that a flex for RYUNG? Is that what we were doing, or were... Oh, you know what? He might not have known how far into the recall RYUNG was. He might not have seen it, or Classic was. He might not have seen it start, so he might have thought that he could EMP the units right when they arrived at the main base. But this is a massive macro game between the two competitors. RYUNG finishing the planetary at the 6th. Ship plating, as well as a bunch of Liberators coming out for RYUNG. We're finally seeing them. Tempest slowly shelling this planetary. Big EMPs. It's hard to tell who's winning right now. It depends how the disruptor connections go. It looks like the Protoss is. It looks like... Oh, wait, the Tempests are gone. The Vikings can land now and fight on the ground. It's just Stalker Disruptor. No, RYUNG turns it around. RYUNG also trying to hit into the main, but met with a huge wave of DTs from Classic. Scan dropped, probably more out of curiosity than anything. He's like, what the heck just killed me? And you will see that DTs are, in fact, in action. Classic still committing to the Tempest play. A few high temps have been collecting a large amount of energy. Classic trying to reestablish these leftward bases. RYUNG gets a cancel. What are these guys doing? Okay. They start working on the shield batteries. The Nexus gets taken down. They were just kind of walking in a clump for a couple seconds, but this is a very intense engagement. The Stalkers have a concave. A lot of this bio is low, but with the reinforcements coming down from the high ground, that's going to be a point on the board for RYUNG. Ooh, baby! That one was a doozy. Classic. Smacked RYUNG in game number 1. Okay, it wasn't close. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to make it look pretty. It was harsh. It was so harsh from Classic. But then RYUNG in game number 2 is like, nah, fam, hold my beer. And just... It was close. It was a close game. There was no clear-cut winner until the last seconds of the final engagement. It was really down to micro. Both players' macro was really good. Their defenses were solid. Their attacks were strong. No one had terrible amounts of deficit. It was just both players playing really, really well, and it was really cool to see. I always love when games are even. Those are my favorite types of games. All right, my absolute favorite type of game in StarCraft is Zerg vs. Terran, where there's a lot of action, right? They're not just sitting back and macroing. There's a lot of run-bys from Lings and a lot of drops from the Terran and Mutalisk play. And it goes to like 40 minutes. And it's all action-packed. It's all fun from beginning to end. And I felt that last map was very reminiscent of that experience, although it was a TVP. So, RYUNG proxying his first barracks outside of his base, just to kind of psych out his opponent. It is going to be a reactor on the barracks as well, so we're not going to see any kind of cheeky Marauder play. Is Classic going to overreact? Will we see a shield battery or something? It can't hurt. It can't hurt to be safe, right? Actually, did he scout it? No, he did not scout the proxy barracks. Zealot Adept opener for a Protoss friend. Viking Cyclone popping for RYUNG. Classic is popping out a Phoenix. Yeah, one Phoenix is not going to do it. It's going to die instantly to this Cyclone. It's not worth losing it for a scout. Okay. Classic somehow managing to only take shield damage. He was babysitting the Phoenix. Now there are two of them, but they are going up against some formidable foes. These two are best friends. They've known each other a long time. They synergize really well when fighting off pairs of Phoenix. RYUNG going into Biotank off of one base. Okay, this is real intriguing. Classic goes for a third at the gold. Oh no, this could be disaster. He's going Phoenix and for a third at the gold against a one base Terran? Are you out of your mind, Classic? RYUNG launches the attack. Classic did not scout any of this. Just going blind 3 Phoenix. If he enters the main, he can kill off a total of 3 SCVs. He's got to get a pick on this tank. But the Cyclone And the Viking, remember I told you they were best friends. The Viking can spot for the Cyclone to kill off a Phoenix if Cyclone Buddy gets lifted, and the Cyclone can defend the Viking if the Phoenix decide to engage in an air battle. Shield battery overcharge popped very early on in this fight, but the Phoenix extend beyond the shield battery, and that means while they are able to get lifts on the tanks, they are utterly destroyed. The Vikings still standing strong in the air for RYUNG. RYUNG gaining ground on the ramp. Big shells on the shield battery. The final Phoenix goes down. The Void Ray is putting in work. The Zealots carving through some Marines. The final SCV dies. Medevac Hot picks up remaining Marines. And something to note here, damage was caused. Classic did cancel his third Nexus at the Gold in order to fund the military he needed to defend this push. GG is going to be called. Classic puts a second win on the board. Classic is up 2 points, momentum in his favor. Can RYUNG flop the lead again? The one point that RYUNG has was a strong point. He really went toe-to-toe with Classic. There were no gimmicks. That was not a gimmicky game that RYUNG won. This is going to be a gimmicky game. This is a very aggressively placed proxy racks. But my point still stands. Is he going to be able to at least fight some even games against Classic? Or is Classic going to be able to dominate RYUNG and to get that third point on the board? All is calm, all is peaceful at the Protoss base. As the first Reaper is being produced, this SCV still sticking around. I wonder what it wants to do. Is it going to put a bunker in the Nat mineral line? That's my question. No, it's going to put a bunker right here next to the choke point of the Protoss's own making. Very cute from RYUNG. This Reaper does have the capacity to eventually kill off the Zealot, but Stalker is in production and will likely pop before the Zealot can be killed off. RYUNG abandons construction of the bunker. This SCV is morale routed. It's actually a Warhammer unit that, like, found its way into StarCraft somehow. It saw its friends die, it's flanked, and it's like, I gotta go home and mine. I'm not shattered, I'll stay on the battlefield, but come on, man, give me a break. I want to mine some minerals. I don't want to be fighting with my drill. Stargate coming out from Classic. And it will be a Marauder play from RYUNG. Marauder slow about to finish. Does he have any backup coming from his main? He's got a Hellion and a Reaper. Looks like a second Hellion will zoom to join the fight as well. Very curious to see if RYUNG gets a tech lab on the starport or not. It is going to be a medevac from the starport, so it looks like RYUNG might play carefully at the natural. And if things get too dicey, back out and join up with the medevac to drop in the main. Here comes second Hellion. Void Ray really going to town on the Marauders. They were just peacefully shooting things. They're just like bam, 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 and the Void Ray comes out and makes their life really miserable really quickly. This Chad Ray being very aggressive out on the field. Oh, disgusting. Just sending beams of energy all over the Viking. Yeah. Black. Oracle focusing down a lot of SCVs. Oh, it takes out a pretty high timer mule as well. Repair on the Viking will help it win against the Void Ray. Will it though? No, does the Void Ray actually win this? No way. No shot. No shot. The Void Ray out damaging all of the repairing SCVs. RYUNG is bankrupt from that repair as well. Another Viking is going to pop, but 7 SCVs have died in the making of this cast. This is very sad. 3rd Nexus down for Classic. RYUNG going for a Cyclone. Twilight Council, halfway done for Classic. We got a Forge, we got a Robo. GG. RYUNG's like, yeah, no, we're not winning that fight, and calls the Gers in the top left from Team GP. He's down to match point. It's RYUNG in the bottom right. Very, very far ahead in this series. It's Alpha X's Classic. Really, really playing well. RYUNG had a strong victory in our second map, but hasn't been able to follow that up. Classics looked very convincing. That last game went out with kind of a whimper. Like, that was very anticlimactic. You know, he didn't fight out the battle. He was like, yeah, no, there's just too many units and I'm going to leave the game. So here we are at match point. Is RYUNG going to be able to turn things around? Or is Classic going to get the 4-1? Second CC being built very safely here for RYUNG. He has not scouted anything about his opponent. It is going to be a proxy Stargate shield battery, a very strong play on Curious Minds. Current wisdom is you put your pylon right here, you got your shield batteries right here, and you start attacking up the ramp, start working on these supply depots, and then push your opponent farther and farther back in the base. RYUNG's going to need Cyclones. RYUNG's going to need bunkers. Okay, he sees it going down. He's actually going to be able to cancel a shield battery. Very nice from RYUNG. Void Ray being chrono boosted for Classic. But again, no shield batteries to support it. These Marines can do hefty damage. 6 Marines against 1 Void Ray is actually a pretty good fight for the Terran. Finally, some shield batteries in production. Again, for Classic, forward supply depot goes down. Marines doing what damage they can. They do have a bunker to retreat to. Cyclone, 50% completed. Once that Cyclone is out, RYUNG can start to retake territory. Able to kill a hold position to depth. Able to kill off the Zealot as well. Very nice. Fighting against the Void Ray. One shield battery finished, though, so the Void Ray is going to be able to push away the Marines. Second supply depot under threat. Cyclone starts working on some of that shield battery energy. Second supply depot has fallen. That will supply block RYUNG. That will gum up the production. But the key units, the Viking and the Cyclone, are still being produced. It did start before the supply depot fell. Barracks under heavy fire will be taken to the orange, but saved before it can be knocked to the red. Oh no, the Cyclone dies. Second Cyclone is about to finish, but take a look at this tech lab. Very vulnerable. Magfield accelerators, a very important upgrade here for RYUNG. He needs to micro perfectly. No, he loses the second Cyclone. The Marines are melting. GG is called. And Classic closes out the series 4-1.